We'll do it live.
Okay. We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Okay, episode 2, The Joy of iracing. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Last episode we went through where to get your template, how to choose the layers, how the layers work like panes of glass stacked on top of each other. We went over a little bit of the tools. I'll cover a few more of those here real quick while we're at it. The move tool obviously moves things. The paint bucket tool, I don't have much use for that one. I don't have much luck with it. It either usually fills in everything or not enough for me. Measuring tool, that's really useful if you need to know exactly how many pixels in between something if you're trying to scale something really precisely. Ellipse tool, well, select an elliptical region, also has a rectangular select tool, the paintbrush tool. It also has pencil, airbrush, ink, and my paintbrush where you can fix your own paintbrushes and stuff, but I don't do any of that stuff. Zoom tool, which I don't actually use. I use hotkeys for that. The plus and minus buttons on my number pad. Scissor tool, which I almost never use because I use paths instead. The eraser tool. Who doesn't love an eraser? Select by color. This is a hotkey as well. It's Shift and C, and I use that one a lot too, and we're going to use that one a lot here today. So Shift and C is select by color. The clone tool, we know what cloning does. Crop tool, we know what cropping does. Blur, smudge, sharpen. The flip tool. These tools I use a lot as well. We're going to use them a lot today too. But they're all also on hotkeys. If you right click it, it'll bring up a menu. It's not showing on my it's showing on my screen but not on yours. Anyway, if you right click it or even just hover over it, it should bring up a list of tools that are available in this tool group. It's got the flip, transform, rotate, scale, shear, perspective, 3D transform, handle transform. A lot of those I don't use. I use the rotate, the scale, and the flip all the time, but they're on hotkeys. Shift F is flip, Shift R is rotate, Shift S is scale. So Shift S size, R is rotate, F is flip, C is choose that color. We just got a bunch of hotkeys that we can use right there. Making paths, we went over this a little bit last time. There are other things we can do with paths other than just making selections. Might go over that a little bit more here before we do some other things. We'll see. Warp, transform, deforms things like punch, smudge kind of deal too. And then the text tool. With the text tool, if you click on here, it doesn't show you again, but it shows me. There's a whole bunch. You can scroll all the way down. There's a whole bunch of different texts you can choose from. Adjust the size, the color, blah, 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 blah. Here's a color palette right here. I think I have it hidden. Yeah, there's the color palette right there. We'll be using this a lot today as well. So we'll be familiar with this by the end of the day. I'm just going to move it out of the way. Over there. Perfect. Okay. So last time we went over how this was glass panes stacked on top of each other. We used some tools. We did a little painting. We ended up exporting that file into the hard drive, loading it up in the iracing UI. We saw it in our paint in the iracing UI. We were able to take that file and load it into trading paints. And that's as far as we really got last time. At the end, I did do a fancy little trick. I didn't explain very much what I did. Today, I'm going to explain that trick more. That's where we're starting. So from where we started earlier today, last episode, we're starting the same place. Blank slate, I haven't touched anything. Haven't touched anything on this. It's brand new. All the layers are fresh and clean. We're going to be doing custom spec map layers today, but not these ones. So I'm going to right click this and I'm just going to delete that whole section. I don't want none of it. We'll get to that in a bit. Today what we're going to do is I'll start with the trick I ended earlier today with. Grab this beautiful mandala, just drag it over to our car, and just drop it on there. Using our flip tool, I'm going to shift the scale. So I'm going to use my hot buttons. Shift S for shift the size. I'm just going to grab it here and stretch it. Grab it there and stretch it. That's good enough. Hit the scale to make it stick. Perfect. Now if you look over here, I wasn't very careful when I dropped it in. So now my mandala is way up on top. So I'm just going to literally grab that layer of glass and I'm just going to drag it down all the way just above the basic car body, the layer that we were painting on earlier. So now we've got our mandala stretched out across our whole picture. Don't know what's going on. Can't tell where anything is anymore. So let's go back over to our layers and make our wire layer visible. Now we can see what the hell is happening in this car. Going over to our move tool, or simply just M on your keyboard for move. You can grab that layer and you can just drag it over. Drag it where you want it. That's actually pretty good. I like that. So I like where that layer is sitting. I'm happy with that already. That's that nicely. I'm going to go back down into our layers over here. I'm going to right click. And if you right click, there'll be a menu comes up. I don't know why my OSB isn't catching this menu, or OBS isn't catching this menu, but it's here. And I'm just going to duplicate layer. So now you can see there's actually two of them here now. There's two of those layers. So with the second layer selected, this is the layer of glass I'm working with now. My move tool is still active. I can grab that glass and move it. You see how that other glass is still there? I'm just moving this layer of glass. I'm just going to drag it up to where the back of this car is over here. Plop it right down there. I like that. Now, we're going to use our paths tool again today. Zoom in with my keyboard positive button. Oh, too far. Zoom out one. Okay. And with our paths tool, I'm just going to start making a path. And now, I've made a path around the rear of this car. This is the stuff I want to keep. So just like last time, we're going to go to select. I'm going to select from that path. So now we've selected this. Everything we have selected, we can work on. But here is a neat little trick that I'm going to show you. if we go back to the select and we go to invert. So select, it's right here, it's invert. You can't see it, but it is there. You'll see it in your screen when you do it yourself. Now, instead of selecting what's inside of our path, we've inverted and we've selected everything outside of our path. So our selection has been inverted. We can grab our big eraser, bring it all the way up, make sure it's all the way opaque, and with just a couple little swipes, we erase everything that is not in our selection. Just like that. Go back to select, select none. Now I've painted the rear of that car. Now back over to my layer groups. I'm going to grab that first layer that we made, that first mandala that we haven't done anything with yet. And I'm going to duplicate it again. So right click, duplicate layer. So now I've got two panes of glass, the exact same. Go back to my move tool, or M on your keyboard. I'm going to grab that pane of glass. You can see now again, we've got two exact identical panes. I'm going to take this one, slap it right there. Go back into my tool, or into my path tool. Zoom in with my positive button on my number pad. Too far, zoom out a little. Alright, I'm going to start making a path. No, I don't like that path, so I'm going to go Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. I'm going to make a new path. From here. Just making dots. It's connecting them for me. Alright, once again, I'm going to select from path. There's actually hotkeys for that too, but I've already told you way too many today. Then we got to keep in mind, so we need to remember the ones that we're going to be using. We're not going to use that one. So select from path, just like that. We've selected this. Select invert. So now we've selected everything except for this. We can grab that eraser again. Just wipe that all clean. Just like that. Back on up. Let's have a look at how we're doing so far. I'm going to take the wire off. Dang. Dang. So we still have a selection going. I'm going to go to select. Select none. That's what our car looks like. Now, once again, I think I want to see what this car is going to look like, what this paint job is going to look like on the car. So I'm going to export this. Now, I already showed you how to do that last episode. File, export as, and then you have to go jump through a bunch of hoops to find exactly where you're trying to export it to. It's under your hard drive, in your users, under your name. You're looking for app data that is local, more specifically iracing data, the paint data, and then the car that you're painting. In this case, it's the Porsche 911 GT3. Find that folder, and then I have to save it as car underscore my racing ID number .tga. We went through where to get your racing ID number last time. I will show you once more, just in case. This is your iRacing. Go to your licenses, into your account. This is where you get your number. So car underscore 1173615. That's what I would write. You would write car underscore whatever this number is dot TGA and save it in the Porsche GT3 folder, in the paint file, in the iracing file, in your local data, app data, under your name, in your hard drive. That's a lot to remember, but that's how it's done. Once you get the hang of it, it's kind of easy to find because you just remember the path that you have to take to get to where you're going. So, this car has been ready to export it. I'm exporting it. Whoops. Hang on a second. I'm on the wrong screen. Okay, I'm exporting it. There, it exported. This car is now in my iRacing folder under the Porsche GT3 car. If I go to my iRacing UI, go into the paint, go all the way to the Porsche 911. There it is. Now, whatever we want to do on GIMP will transfer over very easily with our hot button, Control E. So, we're going to take some of these logos that I've preloaded in my files. This guy, for example, I'm just going to grab him, drag him over to the car, drop him down right there. Then, using this scale tool, the flip tool, I'm going to Shift S for the size. Just going to shrink this guy down about that big. Sure, that looks good. I'm going to hit that scale button to make it stick. Then I want to move him. So move tool or M on your keyboard. Grab this fella, slide him down over here. Right there. That looks pretty good. Now I want to keep him on a guideline. So I'm going to move all the way over to the left hand side of the screen. I'm going to just grab over in this margin. I'm just going to drag a line over like that. Grab him, just stick him to that line. There we go, just like that. About yay high. You know what, I think I have to move him forward a little bit. There. Okay, I like where he's at right there. So, let's check it out on the car. See if it's kind of in the right spot or if we need to move it. So what I'm going to have to do now is I have to export this file. It's already been exported, so just Control and E. Whoops, did I hit it right? Control and E, export that file again. Back to our iRacing, and just refresh. There's our dude. Well, he's not on this side, so we're going to have to fix that. So back into GIMP we go. Back to where our little dude is here. We have to choose him. Our little guy's right there. This is his layer. This is the layer of glass that he's painted on, right there. Right click on him, and I'm going to duplicate his layer. It's in the menu. You'll see it. Now you can see there are two layers that are both our little dude. These are both him. They're identical layers. So with this one, the second one selected, I'm going to use my Shift Flip tool. So it's up here, it's in the tools, in the scale tool, flip tool, rotate. It's all up there, but it's just as easy to remember. Shift Flip, and it's selected that tool. Shift F. You can see how on my screen now the little cursor has an up and down arrow. It means it's got the flip tool ready. Just gonna grab that dude, flip him. Pretty easy. Hit M for move, or grab the little move tool, and he's just gonna stick to that line and slide right into place. To make sure that they're lined up really good, I'll just turn on this wire. I'm going to zoom in on this guy's head, see where it lines up. Just below that line. That blends into the door handle. So, let's see. This guy needs to move up that far. A little bit more. Oh, that's the top of the door handle. Okay, we're on the whole wrong line even. Needs to be way up here. There, that's the right spot for him. I'm going to zoom out using my negative button on my number pad. I think that's about right for him. Turn the wire off. Export, Shift and E, or sorry, Control and E. Export that file. Back into our iracing. Gonna refresh. There, now he's on both sides. Car's looking pretty awesome already. But wait, there's more. Now we're gonna do what's called a spec map. Wait, don't get scared. Don't run away. Don't turn this off. This is where things actually get really, really fun. A spec map is basically a fancy word for saying the clear coat, the shininess, the roughness, how metallic the finish is going to be. So we've already got ourselves a base coat of paint. Here it is. This is our base coat. A spec map is literally going to be this in different colors when we're finished. And the different colors are just going to represent different levels of shininess and different levels of metallic. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. Before we move on to do that, I'm going to add one more decal that I'm actually going to remove later, but it's going to serve us a purpose to show us the difference in shininess. Where should I put it? Nope, I'm not going to bother. We're going to bother with a two-tone spec map, and that'll be good enough. From there, you will understand the basic principles of how things work and how to actually put a spec map on your car. Then we'll upload it. So, here we go. First thing I need a whole nother empty file to build my spec map on. So go File, New File, same size as this and everything. Yep, that's fine. Okay, here's my new file. You can see how the file's here. Car's still there. There's a new file here. Okay. Let me see what's going on. How come I have so many of these? Okay, well, I don't need all of them. I was going to put that on this car. Nope, not doing it now. No room. This will end up being our spec map layer. This is going to be our clear coat file, our finish file. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this black file and I'm going to save this as the file we need it to be. So File, and remember we have to export this file. Export it. Export as, not save as, export as. I gotta find the right window now. Okay, hang on. Okay. So, we are exporting this black blank file. I'll show you why in a second. We're exporting it to our hard drive, our users, us. App data, local app data, iracing's data, the paint, the car we're doing, this is the Porsche here. And from here, you see how we've got the car saved that we're painting. I showed you how to do that earlier. We're going to do the same thing, but we've got to name it a little bit differently. This is going to be our spec map layer. So we need to name this car underscore spec underscore your ID number. This one's mine. .tga. And we're going to just export that the way it is. And you'll see here. Boink. Okay, now you can see here how the car, why? Yeah, that's okay. You can see how the car is kind of dull. A little bit of shine on the windows, most of the car is kind of dull. So we're going to put a clear coat on this car to make it really shiny. So here we go. This is a spec map. We've got this black color. We're going to change the colors. Now, all we're really doing here is we're changing how much metallic sheen goes into it, how much roughness goes into it, and how much matte and gloss go into it. That's what we're changing here. That's all we're changing. The R is how much metallic goes in. The more red is the more metallic you put in. The green channel is the roughness channel. The more green you put in, the rougher your skin is going to look. The blue is the shininess. Like the amount of shininess you're putting into your clean coat. The more matte, the further over here you put in, the more matte your color gets. The further you put it over here, the more shiny your color gets. So that's it. This is metallic sheen, how rough it looks, and how shiny it is. That is it. That's the whole thing. Playing around with those three things can get you all kinds of different effects. Plain black is no spec map. If I turn the red all the way up, we'll just select that red. We'll see if I can hide the color wheel again. I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to fill with that color, that whole red color. Fill the whole thing with red. Now, since we've already exported this file as our spec map file, all we have to do is go Control and E. We've exported it into our spec map file again. Where's my mouse? There it is. So now, this is what our car looks like, but we just put a spec map on it. So if we refresh, now it's glossy and shiny and metallic. But our guy is pretty chromy. I didn't really want him to be chrome. I want him to be white. I want the rest of the car to look shiny and metallic like that, but I don't want him to be chrome. I want him to be white. So we're going to have to go into that spec map and change a few things. Okay, so this is our spec map file that we've built. Here is our race car file that we have built. Here is what I'm going to use. I'm going to go to the top of the car patterns here, and I'm going to make a new layer. And I'm going to call that spec base. So there's my new layer. It's called spec base. I'm going to select that layer. First, I'm going to go down to our dude. There, right here. This is our dude's little layer. I should name him. Usually what you do is you name all your layers, but I'm kind of being lazy. So I'm going to take my little dude and select from color, Shift and C. So now I'm selecting from color, and if I click on our dude, oh no, that's not going to work that way. Okay, so we'll have to go up to this way. We'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Go up to select and go by color. Click on our dude, and you can see how he's selected. Now if I go over to spec base, and brain shit the bed there real quick. If I go over to spec base and I go edit fill with foreground color, that fills in this spec base. Whatever we selected, it fills that on the spec base. So I'm going to fill that with black because, like we said earlier, black was no spec map at all. Very same thing. I'm going to go to our other little dude up there. I'm going to go up to the select by color. I'm going to click on him, select him. Go back to our spec base because this is the layer we want to draw on now. I'm going to go, I can actually just take the brush if I want to, and I can just draw on it. See? I like just using the edit fill because it's often quite quick, but this will work. Select nothing. Select none, just like that. I'm going to grab my move tool so I don't accidentally do anything I don't want to. Now, this spec base layer that we've built with our two little dudes blacked out, that's now our mask. We grab that, we drag it over to our spec map, we drop it on there. Control E, export. Now, in our trading paints, when we reload it, this guy should lose his chrome shine, and the rest of the car should keep it. Now he's lost that chrome shine. We've given him a different finish than the rest of the car. Now you've made a spec map. Two different finishes on the same car. Just like that. It really is not very complicated. You can make these super duper cool though. Like for example, you can subtly change the colors in patterns that match the car shape so that the shininess changes slightly throughout, making neat kind of designs as the light glints off of it, designs that you don't see until the light shines off of it, which I'll probably do to this car in another episode. This one is the basic spec map, how to do it, how to get your logos kind of different color than your background of your car. And now that we've got this here, how do we get it into iracing? Well, once again, you have to bring up trading paints. Oh, I have to find it now. Okay, it's gone. I have to redo it. Okay, so we want to put this car on trading paints. So now we have to go find trading paints. There. Yes, right. We want to upload this file. We need to select that paint file. This is that paint in the neck part again. I was smart and I made, hang on, I gotta make another one. I was smart and I made a shortcut to that paint file here so that I don't have to run around. So I made a shortcut here. We know where that paint file is. C, users, you, yourself, kind of thing. App data, local, iracing, paint, find the right car, find your car with your name, or sorry, your number. Now that car's coming. Now that spec map layer, we're going to add that too. But here is where things sometimes get tricky. What happens to me is lots of times that spec map doesn't save to my hard drive. iRacing creates that spec map themselves and they send it back as an MIP file instead of the TGA that we saved it as. When it comes back to me, it never comes into my PC. It always goes into my cloud. So the easiest way for me to find it is just to go home and search from here. And I just go .mip. Oh, I guess I go here .mip, and it brings up a list of all the MIP files that I have anywhere. Generally, the one I'm looking for is the very top one. It's the last one that I've edited. If I click on it and I ask it to tell me what file it's in, it's the right file, I'm going to upload that one. This will be a community paint. I select the car, Porsche 911 GT3R. Trippy Porsche Volume 2. Volume 2 tutorial car livery. This is also a sim stamp number. Not going to make it a custom number. Maybe next episode. Select images from your device. Hang on a second. I got to make a screenshot of that car. Where'd it go? So I'm just cutting a screenshot real quick. Like that. Adding that screenshot. Not gonna bother picking numbers and stuff. People can pick their own. I'm sure they're smart enough to do that. Add that to the showroom. It's processing. Usually doesn't take very long. And there it is. It's posted. This paint is raceable now. Because I haven't even finished editing this video yet. Because I haven't even started yet. Because I'm still recording it. So I'm going to stop recording it so I can go edit this video, so I can post the video, so you guys know that you can go race this car. All right, have fun. Enjoy your painting.